Good evening. Welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. I am your host, Augustine Ayinbisa Ayala. To seek permission to speak, I rise before my father and my mother, the two individuals who taught me right from wrong. I rise before my grandfather and grandmother, whom I call my ancestors, or my first ancestors. I rise before the deities, the land deities, the water deities, and the sky deities. I rise before the goddesses, especially the goddess Ma'at, to give me balance so that I present this show just to inform without offending any human being. I rise before the gods, especially the god Jehuti, the God that gave me the power of speech to deliver these messages to the races. And finally, I rise before the Supreme Being, the amalgamated rulers of the world, or the universe, known as Amon-Re, whom my tradition calls Nawene, to give me strength to carry on with this mission without offending any other human being. And with this prayer, I know I'm permitted to speak. I know that we must reclaim those bones in the Atlantic Ocean, all those African bones in a briny deep, all those people who said no and jumped ship, all those people who tried to figure out a way to steer, to navigate those sharks. Those are our people, and they mattered. Tony Kade Bambara, 1989. On Saturday, June 9th, 2012, around 11 a.m., people began arriving at the boardwalk of Coney Island, 17th Street, also known as Ancestor Circle, in Brooklyn, New York, to pay tribute to the ancestors of the Middle Passage, those Africans who did not reach the shores of Europe and the New World, and could not return to the shores of Guinea. There's a Moshi proverb which goes like this: Kum Sonyane. Translation: it is better to die than to live without dignity. The ancestors who failed to reach the shores of Europe and the New World adhered to this rule of thumb of the Moshi of Burkina Faso. They were full human beings. Some of them jumped the ships on their own. Some were thrown overboard and became the food of sharks and fish. It is estimated that over 60 million Africans failed to reach the shores of Europe or the Americas. I repeat, 60 million Africans are entombed from the shores of Guinea to Europe and the Americas. Those of us living should not forget what happened to them. They should not be forgotten. That was the main reason those of us living rose up early in the morning of June 9th to hit the highways and the subways to the boardwalk of Coney Island, to the water that stretches from there to the shores of Guinea. McGill College of the City University of New York, under the able leadership of its president, Dr. William L. Pollard, put together a tribute to the ancestors who have not been given proper burials, let alone funerals, to send them off to the land of the dead or the land of the gods. Finally, they heard from their descendants for the past 23 years with the most appropriate prayers Africans have always said from the beginning of time, libation pouring. We had to reenact the burials of our ancestors to perform their befitting funerals and to erect obelisks, which we call Ba, or Teknes, in their honor, and to pour libation to them collectively. Divine speech in African traditionalism arrived by the blessing and by the blessings of the ancestors found a parking space not far from the boardwalk. On our way up towards the boardwalk, something caught our eyes. It was an African drum. No, not one drum, drums. These were drums that looked like iron as we approached the brother who was unloading them from his truck. He quickly came towards us to shake our hands and to introduce himself as Baba Ampo. He told us that what we were looking at was nothing compared to what he was about to offload from the truck. Mr. Seth Mensah assisted Baba Ampo, and they brought out a drum that consisted of 3 drums. Let me allow Baba Ampo to properly articulate the story of this drum. Let us go to the videotape.
These are traditional ancestral drums that were made by the Venda people in South Africa. Ngoma.
Ngoma.
Yeah. And so these drums are played for those benevolent and beneficent ancestors. Now this particular one right here, this is a very special one that was made, and Makoba, the elder who initiated me into the Venda tradition in South Africa, when he made this drum, said made for me to take it back to this part of the world and to be played for the ancestors. It was the only one that was ever made. I don't know if they make another one like this. He is now an ancestor, you know. And so this drum is called the Trinity drum.
Trinity drum.
The Trinity drum. It plays on 3 sides. The top side, this is the leader. The lead. This is where you get the lead of the drum.
Okay.
Right? This over here is where you get the bass.
Okay.
And this is the child.
Okay.
And if you notice the structure, the bass has a different sound.
Right.
And it's bigger than the child. And this is the father. So it's father, mother, and child. The true Trinity.
There you go.
You know?
The name
And so,
father, mother,
and child.
right.
Father, mother, and child, because the child could be either one.
Right.
You know, so it's father, mother, and child.
Right.
And that's what it represents.
Let us watch prayers being conducted by the various spiritual houses amid drumming, chanting, and horn blowing. Dr. William L. Pollard, president of Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York, was seated under a tent surrounded by members of the People of the Sun Middle Passage Collective, with T-shirts embellished with the words, "Spirit of the Ancestors of the Middle Passage, rise up." He was grateful enough to grant us our early interview. Let us watch that interview. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
All right, I'm fine. What brings you out this afternoon or this morning?
I guess Tony Akeem, this opportunity to remember the ancestors, the idea brings me out this morning. I find it important to remember my ancestors. I think it's important that we reflect and remember, because if we don't remember, we're destined to forget.